So, Anita Sarkeesian, I knew I had to grab this.
Real quick, before you do this, look at her head. Is that not an odd-shaped head?
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of looks like a pear.
It's very odd-shaped. But yes, go on. Anita Sarkeesian?
Yeah, this is part of her new campaign because she wants more money, you see.
Of course.
And this doesn't have anything to do with video games. It's about women in history who challenge stereotypes or something.
Or something.
Like that. Something like that. And basically, if you were going to donate to any charity worth a fuck, well then forget that, because this oppressed, marginalized, persecuted, an unfair victim of malicious attack on Twitter needs your money. So hand it over, you fucking privileged pieces of shit.
Well, let's see how she convinces us to do so.
Sorry, did I shock you?
Oh, isn't it so cute? Isn't it nice? Isn't it nice when they leave in the cutesy little mistakes to show she's so human?
I know what they're trying to do with that, but every time I have literally never seen that done well.
See, she's like a normal person. She makes
she's
mistakes.
She's real.
Haha. See?
Oh, they got a fancy new intro.
Now listen, I understand that what you're doing is a defensive technique against people that still feel feelings. But unfortunately for you, there are people out there like me that do already recognize that you're a human being, Anita. And I just don't care. You see, I just don't care. That doesn't stop me from mocking you or criticizing your badass ideas.
Look at their new symbol. Like, I know everyone's already said it, but it's a
Hitler.
fucking swastika.
It is clearly a very well thought out symbol.
Group Infia, we have new symbol for you.
This is sure to catch on. It was very popular in Germany.
For years,
Jews
Countless
did not
Frequency
like
has
it
created
very
videos
much.
that examine what too often goes unexamined. The way women are portrayed in media, and how that
Yeah, your pores, apparently.
both reflects and shapes our ideas about women in real life. Doing this work, I've often heard people say it's unrealistic or historically inaccurate to have female characters in media that are more than just passive sidekicks or eye candy. But history itself tells a very different story.
Yes, on occasion, every gender and race has stood out in history. Predominantly, all people were nobody.
That's why it's almost like she's refuting her own point, because there have, in terms of literature, I would argue there's always been examples of strong female characters or, creators.
Yeah.
So
yeah, since at least we're talking ancient Greece.
I mean, like, Frankenstein was written by a young girl. What the fuck?
Yeah, but that's never. I'm sure she's gonna have to make a video about someone like that.
So hold up. So the entire I'm just figuring this out now. The entire point of everything she's been doing is, we need better representation for women. And now her new campaign is it's already been there. It was there the whole time. Like,
yeah,
no,
it's just disturbing.
stupid.
And again, it's the same argument we've been making about video gaming. I started playing video games.
Is she
when
finally listening to her critics a little bit?
I should hope so, because I started playing video games a long time ago, and literally the first time I saw an Anita Sarkeesian video was actually only earlier in 2015. I didn't get involved in any of this for quite a while. And as soon as I saw her video, and she was talking about, always having damsels in distress and for poor female representation of characters in video games, and it's historically been this way, yada, yada, yada. I'm sitting there just going, Monkey Island. Have you never played Monkey Island, dear? I mean, that's one of the earliest video games that was catching on, like, in the 1990s, and, I mean, it was like 1994 or something, I think, and I was playing Monkey Island. The female character in that is domineering, and still appealing. I mean, it's literally one of the first times the trope of the bumbling male and the smart and capable female was introduced was in video gaming. Stop. Why did you even go there?
Yeah, her criticisms are often just completely defeated by that, because that is the new character model for pretty much all media. Like, you'll see that across the board. We have the Mary Sue can do nothing wrong girl and bumbling male psychic. In fact, fucking Star Wars did that.
Yeah.
Fucking Star Wars did that. We had a female character who could do no wrong, and we have goofy friend along for the ride.
Yeah, who essentially, I mean, I can't imagine how that, I mean, look, the reason why, traditionally speaking, the role of the male character in that particular archive is a white man is because otherwise you then had to do what that movie did, which in a way took guts because they showed a bumbling black person. That was a risk. That was a...
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that nobody has leapt on that is amazing. But they did. They showed essentially a dumb, indoctrinated child soldier get released into the world. And, I mean, 3/4 of that movie is his jaw hanging open, slack-jawed like a bumbling idiot.
I mean, he becomes kind of heroic at the end, but for a lot of it, he's very cowardly and clueless.
Yeah, and I just think it's interesting that they got away with that. And it's if the roles were reversed and the person who was found was like I said, I just want to imagine like if that was a black woman, would she have been allowed to be that bumbling? Is the male now enough to allow you to simply be a punching bag for these people?
I think it is.
Even the race is going to be ignored.
Yeah, I think that, regardless of race, if you are male, people like this will not jump on that because...
Well, hey, there you go.
Whatever.
I guess that's a step in the right direction. A little bit of progress. Welcome on board, black men. Apparently, you're allowed to be stupid again. We've been allowed to be stupid for like 20 years now. We're in commercials being stupid. We're constantly being told we're wrong in TV shows. The husband's always the idiot. But it's usually white men. So it's novel that you're allowed to be morons alongside of us like a human being. So welcome to the club.
It's amazing.
It's ridiculous.
Let's continue.
Although you may not have heard of them, the past was full of women who were rebels, anarchists, undercover reporters, technological geniuses, and even fearsome pirates.
Some were even part of the establishment, like me.
Anarchists. Is that a thing to hold up now?
Yes. Yes. This is the standard. Anarchy.
That literally just really bothered me. Anarchists. Like, okay, no. How about we stick with things like engineers, lawyers, doctors, like productive things? Don't hold up and idolize anarchists, please.
That's funny. Instead of highlighting, things like that, like useful, contributable society, it's rebel and anarchists. Wow. Yeah. Because it's something that you've been mentioning a lot, which is people like this want to destroy the status quo and they don't have a plan of what to put in place of it. They value destruction over rebuilding. Basically,
if they had anything, and like I said, I'm fine to talk about that. I'm fine to talk about changes, even big ones that would scare most people. But you have to have some idea of how the system works now, and I mean the intricate detail, to know what you have to put in place once you've ripped the carpet out from under everything.
Yes.
I mean, people will starve to death under most of these people's ideas. They will. People will just roundly starve to death. Large swaths of the population will die. And they don't seem to realize that.
Pretty misogynistic, Hagbar.
I know, because I'm trying to keep all the people alive and not just the women.
Shit, Lord!
I should just be focused on the comfort and security of the women's, I know.
So this Women's History Month, we're embarking on a new project.
Go pick you some fruits, boy!
A video series devoted to women throughout history who defied the stereotypes and lived remarkable lives. Although each of them is extraordinary, they can help us reimagine the world as a place where women doing revolutionary things isn't incredible at all. It's just normal.
Why would you want to do that? Revolutionary things are supposed to be rare and monumental.
Yeah, revolutionary things, an everyday occurrence.
Why? These people are just so full of their own horseshit, I don't think they can even hear themselves anymore.
It's that delusions of grandeur. Like, look, some women have done great things in the past, therefore those are somehow attributed to me. Like, I somehow am an extension of these great things.
And it's just so bizarre to believe that everybody is ever going to achieve greatness or revolutionary thinking, or that's just not realistic. It just isn't.
Look, hey, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. He has a penis. I have a penis.
Thus, I wrote the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. I wrote it, bitch.
Somehow. That I'm related to the writing of it somehow. Self-obsessed. Jesus.
That's why we call them ordinary women daring to defy history.
That's a horrible title.
Well, you may not have learned.
That's catchy. I'm sure that will spread like wildfire.
It's even worse than tropes. At least tropes versus women in video games. You know, like that. It's not a good title, but it's better than that.
Yeah,
Ordinary
and
women.
she has this thing that's the new modern way, and I've noticed it with pop books, like trash books for youth, like 20-year-olds, not 14-year-olds, but the 20, 25-year-old category of pop book, especially aimed at young girls and young women. They have these titles like that, where the first half is technically a functional title. Like Tropes versus Women, that's a title. You're good, roll.
Yeah, that would be a better title.
But Tropes versus Women in video games, it's the second part that goes down, you hear. It starts with Tropes versus Women in video games. It's like they tag on this secondary and lengthening title, and it's been happening more and more. I mean, it's not just aimed, like John dies at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if he had done that and he had said John dies at the end, only he's not really because reasons or something. You know, you can't, it's just not a titling method. It just is not an intelligent titling method.
Yeah, it's not appealing in it. It kind of, it specializes it to the point that you're going to scare off, you know, part of your audience. Like, people will be watching, like, a larger audience would watch something called Tropes versus Women, because there's going to be a large number of people who don't care about video games.
And she could have been smart about the video making too. I could have edited the videos together in a style that would have been more impactful than the way she even did it. I could make her points better than her, and she chooses not to do so. Things like you could actually draw from, if she had done side-by-sides of scenes or interactions from cutscenes in video games with side-by-sides from movies from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, she would have had more impact than just saying shit.
That would have been actual propaganda.
Yeah, you would have actually been able to show that there were cultural correlations, but instead you're just making these assertions.
We can blame that on John crying Macintosh.
And
But
now I'm sure she's going to get to why we should give her money, right?
I watched an old Anita Sarkeesian video. I was actually going to make a response to it, but I said whatever. But it was her talking about the music video for Kanye West's Monster. And it was interesting because during the clip, she verbatim said I'm not going to be showing any clips from the video because it was just so disturbing. So occasionally she would show a screenshot that you could barely get any context for.
Of course, that's the best way to do it.
And so I went out of my way to watch the music video, look at the imagery used, and be like, yeah, this isn't fucking misogynistic. That's ridiculous. What in the world?
All right, Anita, why do we need to give you money?
About them in history books. We hope that by the time Women's History Month rolls around again next year, you'll know each and every one of them by name. Jing Shi started out working in a brothel and...
Wait. So you're creating... Okay, we've made this joke several times, but she's literally trying to make saints now.
Yep. Here are your new idols, feminists.
These are the patron saints of feminism.
Exactly. And
I'm sorry. Oh my god, that was evil. My bad. The matron saints. The matron saints. My apologies.
We have to get some women of color in there too, you know.
Technically, Ching Shi is a woman of color.
Technically. And she's a pirate.
Commander of one of the largest pirate fleets in history. Ida B. Wells was born a slave but became a daring investigative reporter who exposed the horrors of lynching after the Civil War. Murasaki Shikibu lived at a time when women's names were rarely even written down, but it didn't stop her from writing the first modern novel. Emma Goldman's radical ideas...
Oh, I cannot wait until someone willing to do some serious research gets into this.
Yeah, it's this has the potential to be just the absolute worst of the worst. This is the most haphazard, random project. These who the fuck are these people?
Just random women through history. I mean, the irony being, I don't understand how this is a call of novelty. Where I was raised, we used to do things like this all the time during history classes, where it'd be all of a sudden a whole month would be just dedicated to the amazing women in history. And for 30 days, we would learn in-depth the biographical information of one of these women. This isn't new. It's not like we ignore these accomplishments. Everyone's accomplishments are few and far between. No matter
Sure.
who you are, race, gender, whatever, they're all few and far between. Most human beings are essentially the chaff. I mean, there's going to be some, harvestable wheat, but most human beings are chaff. And that's just something you gotta accept.
We really only have time to learn about the most important contributors to human
Especially
progress.
in early life, in survey courses. I mean, if you're not a specialist, you're not going to learn these things, and you shouldn't be required to attempt to learn these things. It's absurd.
Absolutely. I think that the education system isn't perfect, but I think they do a well enough job showing you like who was extremely important in human history. Okay, here they are. And is it sexist? Not necessarily, but most of those people happen to be male. I'm sorry. It's just how it worked out.
Yeah, and it's like they want to pretend like there are no like I didn't learn about historical female figures just as they came up through history, even just in early high school. It's just bizarre. The narrative either requires. I honestly think the narrative requires you had not paid attention in school.
Yes, absolutely.
So as long as you're essentially an idiot to begin with, and you didn't know the basis of any of this, of course you can be manipulated by someone simply asserting facts you've never heard before that if you Google are vaguely correct. That's the same thing I think that gets so much of the Afrocentrists going. It's just a lack of understanding of long-form history.
Shakespeare was black.
Yeah, I know he was.
How about they need to make Shakespeare female? Shakespeare was secretly a woman. That's why
They
the
did as
plays
close
are so
as they
amazing.
could. They say he's gay, so they got as close as they could while still having to leave him male.
They're gonna do it. They're gonna do it.
Oh, sure. He was a cross-dressing female the whole time. He was actually a female, and he just dressed as a man so he could write, or she could write.
He was a trans woman of color, queer, fucking something else. I don't know. Otherkin. I don't
And a
know.
midget. Always a
At
midget.
least 3 countries and labeled one of the most dangerous
Would be
women in
twist.
America. And Ada Lovelace's doctor said her feminine mind was too weak and fragile to handle advanced math. She ignored him and wrote the world's first
Get in the
computer
kitchen,
program.
bitch, and make me a sandwich.
Jesus. Wait, is that it? Anita, was that the whole list, dear?
That was it. That was like what, fucking 5 people?
Was that it?
This is
That was
their
5
new
or 6
series.
people. That was it, Anita. And you want more money for this?
This is what is called a spoiler. So instead of giving your money to Anita, how about you just go onto Wikipedia for free and look up each of these women?
For real?
Boom.
That's ridiculous. Holy shit.
Each episode will focus on one of these women and feature gorgeous original animation with a style inspired by both the person and the time period when she lived. Although their stories take place
Beautiful.
everywhere from 10th century Japan to the Reconstruction era of the American.
Was she just drawing with her foot?
That was her
That's your
special
beautiful
talent.
animation. That's your beautiful animation. I couldn't tell hand from foot in that shot.
Her beautiful animation is like really just trendy hipster art.
Look.
Gorgeous
Oh my,
original
there's a
animation with
screenshot.
style inspired by both the person and the time period when she lived. Although their stories take place everywhere from
Look at that foot. Look at that foot. That beautifully animated foot. I don't know why it's holding a pen, but okay.
Yeah, it is supposed to be her hand, but it looks like a foot.
That is a hideous piece of work.
You know what? This is so random, but when they show the house and it's kind of suspended, it looked like the fucking Wookiee house from the Star Wars
Oh
holiday
god,
special.
it does. You're right.
They
Just kind of
need
floating
to
up there.
Zoom in and they can show fucking what's his name, Fluffy or what the fuck?
each episode will
Oh my
focus on
God.
one of these women and feature
Here.
gorgeous original
Yeah,
animation
yeah,
with a
yeah.
style inspired by both the person
Yeah,
and
whatever,
the
Anita.
time period.
This
You done?
Although
And
the
look,
stories take place
look, there's little Fuzzy. On the balcony.
Fuzzy's waiting for Chewie to come home.
everywhere from 10th
Jesus.
century Japan to the Reconstruction era of the American South, you may be surprised at how relevant many of their struggles are to women today. We think the stories in Ordinary Women will be entertaining and inspirational to a lot of people. And
Oh
not
yeah, the
just
struggles of women during the Southern Reconstruction era are so relatable to today. It's pretty much the exact same.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing. I'm not understanding. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, they had like a giant civil war and an entire area of their own country decimated. You know, we have, you know, occasional trolls on Twitter. Same thing.
Same difference.
Ugh.
Because these women were brilliant.
That is called the
These women were surrounded
trivialization,
by
Anita.
cultural messages that said women had to be small, quiet, and submissive in order to be good. But they spoke up for themselves, often at the cost of harassment, slander, racism, and even death threats. In a
Oh,
way,
hold
Listen,
up. Oh,
listen,
like
listen.
you.
The racism had nothing to do with them speaking up. I assure you, these people who lived in the Reconstruction era South were probably just racist towards her anyway. It was irrelevant of whether she spoke up or not.
I like how when she's talking about strong women of the past and the struggles that they stood up against, she hinted at things that she struggles with, inferring that she is one of these great women.
Of course, she's standing up she's standing up against the evils of the world right now.
I am the next Susan B. Anthony, Anita Sarkeesian.
Let's just hope this doesn't end in a martyrdom.
people that was designed to silence and diminish them,
Let's get into
they had
that
to be
point.
more than just talented. They had to be defiant. We've already invested $20,000 and a lot of effort from our team to lay the groundwork for the first season of Ordinary Women. But we need your help to make this series a reality.
No sign of John.
Yeah, those are pretty ordinary looking women. And the artwork was far.
down the.
Well, it's funny because it all appears to be pretty ordinary. She's pretty ordinary. The artwork was pretty ordinary. None of it's extraordinary.
Yeah, the title is pretty fitting. I mean, this. Who seriously is going to donate to this?
A ton of people.
No. Well, that just further shows me how stupid feminists are, because you gave this woman a fortune, and she did not deliver.
Yes.
And you're trusting her again. You're trusting her again? Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, listen, if she stood up and said that she did deliver, they would take that. She did. As far as they're concerned, she did deliver. She made her videos. She didn't get them all done, but I mean, how can you expect her to get them all done?
There was so much harassment.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to them, okay?
She kills me with that. I mean, this shit's not, I mean, it's really, I've seen her videos. That shit is not hard to make.
Yeah, no. Not at all.
It's just not.
Reporting things about my work with Feminist Frequency has been watching an incredible community of supporters spring up
So
to show
much
how much
research.
they care about me, about the work we do, and about improving how women are treated in our culture at large. We hope you'll join that community and help us bring these stories to life in a way that celebrates not just the potential of women, but the incredible things we've already
I would click that, but it will make your face disappear, so we're just gonna live with it.
accomplished despite the barriers trying to hold us back. These women's stories have moved us, inspired us, and resonated with our own lives in ways that we never expected, and we can't wait to share them with you.
Well, we can't wait either.
Yep. Can't wait for more fodder. A lot of gender signifiers in this video, man. A lot of lipstick, a lot of earrings.